Good morning to our stakeholders, listeners and viewers, friends and well-wishers in Barbados and the wider Caribbean. Good afternoon and good evening to all those who are following today's event online via the World Wide Web. It's with an abundance of pleasure that on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Barbados High Commission, Ghana, Caribbean Export Development Agency, Export Barbados, BIDC, and the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, CBC TV Channel 8. But I extend a warm welcome to this historic and momentous event. I speak of the unique marriage of three business entities: Nigeria's digital transformation giant, TelNet Nigeria Limited, and two dynamic Barbados counterparts, Global Integrated Fintech Solutions, otherwise referred to as GIFTS, and IPayAnyWhere, an unbeatable combination of cutting-edge technology and financial services. I'm Ricardo Blackburn, and I'm your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Well, today's event will in fact highlight the significance of this new and exciting initiative, and we shall be hearing by way of pre-recorded presentations from some of the key players involved. There will also be presentations by some of the key stakeholders who have collaborated to make today's event possible, among whom will be Senator the Honourable Dr. Jerome Walcott, our Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Mr. Deodat Maharaj, Executive Director of Caribbean Export, and Mr. Mark Hill, CEO of Export Barbados, BIDC. And I'm happy to advise that one of the Caribbean's celebrated musical icons, Dr. the Most Honourable Anthony Gabby Carter, has graciously consented to join us for the wind-up of today's event with a special guest performance. Our first speaker then, this morning, is the chairman of TelNet Nigeria Limited. A mathematics and management graduate of King's College London, University of London, he served on the boards of a number of other leading companies in Nigeria. Among them, Super Maritime Nigeria Limited, IPayAnyWhere Nigeria Limited, and Technivest Limited. A consummate professional with a vast knowledge of programming languages, concept and technologies, including C+ Java, Visual Basic Principles of Languages, Principles of Programming Languages, Linear Programming, Network Fundamentals, and Distributed and Database Systems, he has successfully steered several businesses to profitability and growth. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of TelNet Nigeria Limited, Chef Samalia Aliandino.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, our brothers and sisters from Barbados and Nigeria, our partners and friends, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the signing of the partnership today between Barbados's Global Integrated Fintech Solutions, IPayAnyWhere, and TelNet Nigeria Limited, which is aimed at sharing their technology products across Africa and the Americas. Today's signing sets a significant milestone for closer collaboration between Barbados and Nigeria. For over 3 decades, TelNet and its subsidiary companies have been at the forefront of digital transformation in Nigeria, with key projects that have transformed the Nigerian economy to date. Our mission is to provide technology-enabled business solutions efficiently and cost-effectively to the utmost satisfaction of our customers. Our customers spread across a broad spectrum of verticals such as financial services, government, oil and gas, healthcare, travel and hospitality, and energy, to mention but a few. In a fast-paced business world, one cannot afford to make the wrong decisions. It is vital to follow business trends and understand how technology is driving or reacting to market forces. The advent of the COVID-19 pandemic has further emphasized the need for businesses and governments to adopt the use of technology in their operations in order to improve their bottom line and effectively provide services to their customers. Hence, it is important to note that business opportunities are abound in Nigeria, and the fintech sector is growing. We at TelNet are excited that this historic event is taking place at this time. I'm also confident that this international partnership will drive a new wave of world-class developments in fintech solutions. Welcome on board, stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Samalia Aledino. Next to address us this morning is the Executive Director of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Mr. Deodat Maharaj. A national of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Maharaj has had extensive experience in international trade, working with the private sector, governments, and multilateral institutions in a career spanning more than 25 years. He knows the region well, having lived and worked in Barbados, Guyana, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago, served with the Caribbean Development Bank, and has consistently championed the development agenda of the region in his various roles. I give you the Executive Director of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Mr. Deodat Maharaj.
Ceremonies for a very kind introduction. Honourable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to those of us in the Caribbean, good afternoon to those in parts of Africa, and good evening to many others. On behalf of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, a sincere thank you to you, Honourable Minister, and your ministry, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, for spearheading this initiative and leading the charge to make the signing ceremony possible. At a time when we have been subject to such challenging news across the world and continued news reports on the negative impact of the pandemic, which has had a deleterious impact indeed globally, but across our region as well. This is wonderful actually to see this major breakthrough and the signing ceremony taking place today. We all know too well that the Caribbean and Africa are inextricably linked and intertwined. And as our regions grow, develop and transform, there are immense opportunities for trade and investment and partnerships as we are seeing today. I can speak to that from a first-hand perspective. I have spent much of my career living and serving in Africa. And when I speak about Africa, and when I think about Africa, I think about rising Africa. I think about the immense opportunities that exist in Africa. When I think about Africa, I think about the agreement establishing the African Free Trade Continental Area, which is the largest free trade area in terms of number of countries globally. And it is time that we in the Caribbean, and it is delightful to see that we are doing it here with Barbados and Africa, translating that rich and inextricable history into business and commercial opportunities for the benefit of African people and for Caribbean people. And therefore, For us, we want to see more of the same. And today's signing ceremony between Global Integrated Fintech Solutions, IPayAnyWhere, and TelNet Nigeria is a clear indication of specific opportunities for commercial relationships between Africa and the Caribbean. We at the Caribbean Export Development Agency, our remit is to advance Caribbean trade globally and to promote and steer foreign direct investment to the Caribbean. And what we really hope is that what we are seeing today is the first step in a long and enduring commercial partnership between Africa and the Caribbean. And I think what the pandemic has really laid bare, it has laid bare the vulnerabilities of our region and indeed Africa as well. But it has also emphasized the imperative for digital transformation across the region to facilitate cross-border trade in a cost-effective and efficient manner. And the three companies here today are operating in the very heart of cross-border digital trade, providing a range of financial technology solutions. So this is not just a signing ceremony, it's just not the start of a great relationship, but it also goes to the heart of the development challenges that's facing our region, and such investment and such partnership can certainly lead to advancing transformation. We are at the stage now that embracing technological advancement in business is not really an option, but absolutely critical for our survival and integration into a global economy. It is therefore imperative that our businesses are supported in an environment that facilitates and allows them to implement digital transformation, and our policies provide the enabling environment that it make it easier for the private sector to grow and create jobs, strengthen the economy, and reduce poverty. We in the Caribbean must also work together to reform how we do business and make the bold decision to facilitate change and progress towards digital economies. So the signing ceremony we are witnessing today will be the first of many. As we set out on a true transformational agenda to support the increase of Caribbean trade, job creation, prosperity, and wealth for our people, we see rising Africa as a key market to partner with along this journey. We at the Caribbean Export Development Agency are delighted again to be here and to have the chance to give these remarks. And we are committed to this agenda in strengthening and building an enduring partnership with companies in Nigeria, with businesses in East Africa, Southern Africa, as we seek to translate our inextricable history, cultural and people ties into business relationships for the benefit of African people and for Caribbean people. I thank you so very much.
Well, that was the Executive Director of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Mr. Deodat Maharaj. Dave Sahadath was born right here in Barbados. The founder and executive chairman of Global Integrated Fintech Solutions and IPayAnyWhere, attended the law school before migrating to New York, further his education at Long Island University, majoring in business and accounting. Always a challenge-seeking and serial entrepreneur at heart, he worked with some measure of success as a realtor and in the travel industry before recognizing that the advent of smart cards opened up new opportunities for providing a service to the underserved regions of the world, especially the Caribbean. Subsequently conceptualized and formally created the One Caribbean Card before placing his focus on Fintech, the technology and innovation that aims to compete with traditional financial methods in the delivery of financial services. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder and executive chairman, Global Integrated Fintech Solutions, and IPay Dahada.
Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Ricardo Blackman, MBE. Minister of Foreign Affairs of Barbados, the Honourable Dr. Jerome Walcott, Barbados High Commission Ghana and Special Attaché, Honourable Phil Phillips, Managing Director of Caribbean Export and Development Agency, Mr. Deodat Maharaj, Chief Executive Officer of Export Barbados BIDC, Mr. Mark Hill, Management and staff of CBC TV Channel 8 Barbados, colleagues of Gifts IPayAnyWhere, ladies and gentlemen. Today's signing culminates efforts of several months ago where one of our executives, Mr. Douglas Stewart from PayAnyWhere Global, created an introduction to the company TelNet. Mr. Stewart, having lived in Nigeria for several years, has always been a firm believer in Pan-Africanism, and thus he created the introduction to us and management of TelNet. The decision to go into business and form a partnership with TelNet was not taken lightly, as it was important to us to form a partnership with an organization whose core values mirrored ours and whose operating ethos did the same. We are happy to say that in TelNet we believe that we have found the right partner. The right partner who also has the knowledge of the local market, understands the culture, has served the Nigerian market for the last 3 decades with pride and distinction and integrity. In doing our due diligence, we recognize that TelNet had a pristine reputation of delivering great products and services to the marketplace. Today is a very exciting day in the life of Gifts IPayAnyWhere. For indeed, what we are able to do is to bring and join forces together with TelNet to further enhance their suite of great products and services that they already have. Some of the things that we will be providing in conjunction with them will be our AML, anti-money laundering and know your customer product. We'll also be providing a full suite of payment and payment processing services, as well as we are very proud to showcase our fraud reduction through early detection product, which is powered by artificial intelligence, Fred, as well as our IPayAnyWhere solution, which is an end-to-end mobile-based payment solution that services both government, private sector, and consumer alike. Certainly this platform is one that was created by us, and we are very, very proud to have created it, because from our inception in Gifts, we started out with the belief that electronic payment solutions should be available to everyone. We were always very concerned about what is called the digital divide, and we know that in listening to comments and also reading several reports from places such as the World Bank and IMF, they are very, very concerned about programs and products that positively have a bearing on social impact. From our inception, we have set out to be able to create a platform that integrates into just about every form of payment system. In IPayAnyWhere, we have done just that. Regardless of the type of payment system that there is, iPay system is actually able to integrate into just about any form of payment. We have done so successfully in India, where our product successfully integrated into 16 different wallets. We are very proud of this product, and we certainly see it as one of the key elements that will be able to bring more people into the formal banking sector and pretty much reduce what is referred to as either the unbanked or the underbanked sector. We are very happy to form this partnership with TelNet because we are hoping that through this partnership, which we know will be long-lasting and mutually beneficial, it will also serve as a source of inspiration for other companies in Barbados and across the Caribbean. We know that because of the size of our markets, we are somehow restricted as far as trade is concerned, and in many instances, many companies seem to be constrained by its borders. Traditionally, exports have been seen as just something towards the manufacturing sector. Well, we at Gifts IPayAnyWhere are happy to be pioneers in exporting our technologies, especially in the fintech space, which is rapidly growing across the world. We are extremely happy in this relationship that we have formed with TelNet. And one of the great things about it is that by so doing, it has pretty much expanded our horizons. As we speak right now, we have other agreements across Africa, both east and west, in places such as Ghana, in places such as Sierra Leone, Uganda, Kenya, and now quite recently Cote d'Ivoire. This excites us, and if it's one thing that we can do, if we are able to inspire other brothers and sisters across the Caribbean doing business, that they can go beyond their borders, go beyond their boundaries, and let's seek to reestablish those ancestral linkages. Let us seek to do business amongst ourselves. From day one, we've always set out to design our products and services in such a way that no one will be left behind. All of our products and services are scalable across the value chain, meaning that no organization or no individual should be disenfranchised because of the inability to have the necessary finances to avail themselves to these products and services. This has been part of our mantra. Electronic payment solutions for everyone and providing scalable fintech solutions across the value chain. It is with great pleasure that we sign this agreement today formally with TelNet, and we look forward to a long and mutually beneficial relationship with them for many years to come. I would just like to thank all of the team members from Gifts IPayAnyWhere who have contributed to this success and made this a reality. And we look forward to doing business in Nigeria for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the program, we were to have featured a clip of the electronic version of the signing of the contract, but we've experienced some challenges, technical challenges with this, so we'll move on to the next program, next address on our program. Folorunso Aliyu provides executive leadership for the TelNet Group as the Group Managing Director. Prior to his appointment, Folorunso was the Group Project Director for Strategic Projects and also doubled as the Director responsible for the Northern Nigeria region of TelNet Group's operations. In 2007, he served as the Managing Director of IPayAnyWhere Nigeria Limited, a subsidiary of the TelNet Group, specializing in enterprise networking solutions, e-learning, intelligent building solutions, where he successfully led the organizations through major accomplishments and growth. As an engineer, he was involved in the building of some of the earliest networks, e-security, and network optimization rollout in financial institutions in Nigeria from the ground up. I give you the Group Managing Director of TelNet, Mr. Folorunso Aliyu.
Your Excellencies, members of Diplomatic Corps, Corporate Nigeria and Barbados, clients, friends, partners, ladies and gentlemen, we make history today in consummating this partnership between TelNet Nigeria Limited, IPayAnyWhere, and Gifts of Barbados. Today marks the beginning of what we foresee to be a long and mutually benefiting partnership across the Atlantic. With IPayAnyWhere, Gifts, and TelNet as they bring to the table the rich history in digital transformation and deployment of technology to enhance and better the lives of people in Nigeria and in Barbados. With Gates and IPayAnyWhere, we in TelNet have expanded our anti-money laundering and card services product and portfolio offering to the Nigerian financial service space. As the fintech space is growing in Nigeria, so is the need to ensure that transactions, consumers, and might I say the entire financial system are protected in a sustainable manner, bearing in mind the need for integrity. And that's the basis for this partnership, contributing our quota to the sustainable development of fintech in Nigeria. For over 3 decades, TelNet has been a leading ICT provider in Nigeria, passionately delivering customized business solutions, pioneering and driving digital transformation across Nigeria with several significant landmark projects. TelNet Nigeria Limited, the pioneer ICT digital transformation company in Nigeria, commenced business over 35 years ago. Today, we have grown to over 200 employees to deliver remarkable experiences to our valued clientele. TelNet and its subsidiary companies have been at the forefront of technology-enabled business innovation in Nigeria, with key projects that have transformed the Nigerian economy to date. Our customers spread across a broad spectrum of verticals, such as financial services, government, oil and gas, healthcare, travel and hospitality, and energy, to mention but a few. We deploy our solution integration capabilities to integrate best of products through key partners and subsidiary companies to provide end-to-end solutions to our customers. Our solutions are helping private and public organizations deliver services efficiently and improving revenue while promoting consumer commerce and improving business competitiveness. Over the years, we've grown our portfolio base to include data science, big data, and data analytics. We are well known in the area of ICT consultancy, outsourcing, and support services. As we said earlier, today marks another moment of expanding our anti-money laundering and card services portfolio to the fintech in Nigeria, fintech space in Nigeria. We have created and we've managed business portals over time. We are proud to say we have arguably Nigeria's largest and most robust tax administration and processing system developed within the Nigerian system based on the TelNet system. We've developed health insurance management solutions. We're pioneers in workflow process automation and optimization. We have probably the largest intelligent building solution in Nigeria to date. Our portfolio also includes enterprise network security and infrastructure solution. We carry enterprise resource planning solutions as well, customer relationship management solutions, physical and logical software security solutions, and unified communication and audiovisual solutions. In TelNet, ours is a proud heritage, a dynamic and relevant present, while looking into a beautiful and sustainable future. Part of this future we see is working with IPayAnyWhere and gifts of Barbados into delivering in making sure that the lives of the average Nigerian and the average Barbadian is bettered. Once again, thank you for your time and have a wonderful deliberation.
Thank you, Mr. Aliyu. Mr. Mark Hill, the Chief Executive Officer, Export Barbados, BIDC, is the founder of Inogen Technologies, Inc. and Biogen Biotechnologies, Inc., two research and development companies in the clean technologies market. A European Union scholar, earning a BA honors in three-dimension design, that's industrial design, from the De Montfort University. Is also an MIT-trained product and service innovation specialist, utilizing design thinking methodology, and currently a research master of Doctor of Philosophy candidate at the University of West Indies, Cayfield campus, Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies, specializing in governance and public policy with a focus on design for small island developing states. He joined the BIDC at a critical time and against the backdrop of a slowed economy owing to COVID-19. His appointment as CEO brought a new focus on export innovation with a vision for the new Export Barbados BIDC to rethink exports and be laser focused on export development, promotion, engagement, expansion. A purposeful and aggressive approach tailored to build a new export economy which can drive foreign exchange growth and transformation for the country. I give you Chief Executive Officer, Export Barbados, BIDC.
Senator the Honourable Dr. Jerome Walcott, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, and the other ministers of Barbados government, Mr. Phil Phillips, Commercial and Cultural Attaché, Barbados High Commission to Ghana, other members of the Diplomatic Corps, representatives of the Global Integrated Fintech Solutions, IPayAnyWhere and TelNet, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, we really want to say welcome to this prestigious event. It is my distinct pleasure to address you on this occasion, which marks the commencement of a mutually beneficial partnership between Global Integrated Fintech Solutions, also known as GIFS, IPayAnyWhere, Barbados-based financial technology service company, and TelNet, a consulting firm providing complete telecom and IT solutions in Nigeria and the rest of the world. Export Barbados BIDC is the sole Barbados government agency with the mandate of contributing to the diversification and growth of Barbados economy through increased exports of products and services. Since assuming leadership of Export Barbados in April this year, my team and I have been steadfastly pursuing the mandate given to us by our government in the face of an unprecedented global pandemic, which continues to weigh heavily on our national economy. Our efforts under this new strategic path that we have been carving out for Export Barbados are exclusively geared towards increasing Barbados exports of both goods and services, particularly because Barbados has a high level of bio-based exports, but we also want to increase our technology exports and our scientific exports. How do we address the different hurdles which lay in the path of Barbadian entrepreneurs and companies in order to enhance their performance in exports? A number of initiatives have been developed as we speak. For example, we have established an academy unit within Export Barbados, which seeks to enhance the export awareness and education among stakeholders. For example, there are 5 different pathways in which we can engage in exports. We can engage through direct exports. We can engage through franchising. We can engage through subsidiaries. We can engage through licensing other people to produce goods and services on our behalf. Or we can do joint ventures. But predominantly, Barbados primarily focuses on direct exports and to a lesser extent, subsidiaries. So therefore, we want to encourage persons to explore exporting as a viable means of entrepreneurship going forward. This venture that Gifts IPayAnyWhere is engaging in aligns perfectly with the government's strategic ambition of aggressively entering into the African market. I want to applaud this team for taking this bold step to move from local to global. It is a venture that meets all of Export Barbados requirements to benefit from our full assistance, which we are gladly provided. We are confident that this partnership between Gifts, IPayAnyWhere, and TelNet will not only boost Barbados exports of goods and services, but will also constitute an opportunity for employment creation in our country. To conclude, on behalf of Export Barbados, its board of directors and its staff, and the Ministry of International Business and Industry, I would like to congratulate the executives of Gifts, IPayAnyWhere, and TelNet for what is without a doubt the beginning of a mutual beneficial cooperation. So thank you everyone, and enjoy the rest of the event. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Mark Hill, CEO, Export Barbados BIDC. Born Anthony Nicholas George Carter, our celebrated musical icon, got the name Gabby bestowed on him from his pre-teen years. He added the mighty when he entered the Calypso competition in 1965. Gabby has spent over 16 award-winning Calypsos and also won Folk Singer of the Year from 1979 to 81. He spent over 3,000 songs and poems and has been honored by the Cuban government, the Venezuelan government, New York State Senate, and City, as well as the Massachusetts House of Representatives. In addition, he received the prestigious Limon Award of Costa Rica and is a chief of the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria. Gabby is the 1997 Humanities Scholar of the University of the West Indies and is an honorary distinguished fellow at the Hallowed Institution. He also received an honorary doctorate from the UWI. He is the recipient of the Clement Payne National Hero Award and has been honored by the St. Paul's School, his alma mater, St. Leonard's School, Amman. He's also received the Barbados Award, along with such outstanding artists as Camille Brathwaite, Carl Boothagen, Emil Straker, and George Lamming. Gabby received the Barbados honor in November 2016. Year 2020, the government of Barbados gave him its highest honor, making his official title His Excellency, Dr. the Most Honourable Anthony Gabby Carter, who now graces us with his rendition of Well Done.
Life is a stage we live on, fully engaged since we born, playing a role that we've been given by the Creator who watches on. Sometimes it seems life is hard. You will receive only bad. Don't be afraid. Don't give up the struggle. Keep your head high. You will get by. And you will be playing your role well. You will be avoiding hell. Oh, and at the end of your days, at your setting sun, the Creator will say to you, well done, well done. Well done, well done, well done. Act 2 will come. Be prepared. Sadness and bliss will be shared. Then suddenly things will get better. Oh, don't be complacent. See the future. Save all you can. Fill your need. But don't ever sow seeds of greed. I say love your neighbor as you love your person. Life will be complete. Life will be sweet, and you will be playing your role well. Oh, you will be avoiding hell. And at the end of your days, at your setting sun, the Creator will say to you, well done. Well done, well done. Act 3 will be Father Time creeping on you down the line. Don't be ashamed when you no longer can rendezvous like youngsters do. Show them the ways, all the walls. Help them avoid life's pitfalls. Helping them through is really helping your own offspring. Do the same thing, and you will be playing your role well. You will be avoiding hell. And at the end of your days, at your setting sun, the Creator will say to you, well done, well done, well done, well done, well done, well done, well done.
Executive Director of Caribbean Export Development Agency, Mr. Folorunso Aleu, Group Managing Director of TelNet Nigeria, Mr. Dave Sahadaf, Founder and Executive Chairman of Global Integrated Fintech Solutions and IPayAnyWhere, Mr. Mark Hill, the CEO of the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade is pleased to be associated with today's International Press Conference and signing ceremony between Barbados's Global Integrated Fintech Solutions, otherwise known as GIFS, IPayAnyWhere, and TelNet Nigeria, facilitated by the collaborative efforts of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Barbados Investment and Development Corporation, and the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. I want to thank these entities and the individuals engaged by them for their commitment to this process over the last few months. I am aware that it involved many hours of discussion and negotiations across different time zones, which in itself must have been somewhat challenging. However, the fact that we are here today to concretize an idea that was inchoate only a few months ago is testimony to the diligence and creativity of all those involved in giving realization to this initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, I must place on record the government of Barbados' commitment to building commercial diplomacy with countries in Africa. The deepening of our diplomatic relations with West Africa through the imminent establishment of Barbados' High Commission in Ghana is already facilitating this government's exploration of a new and dynamic ethos of national development by a redirection of its diplomacy through the stimulation and encouragement of private sector partnerships, as is evident by today's ceremony. It is imperative that we understand the industry about which we are speaking, a combination of technology and financial services that have transformed the way businesses operate globally. The global fintech industry has grown from a market value of $127 billion in 2018 and is presently estimated to have a market value of almost $300 billion. It is the fastest growing area for venture capitalists and is estimated that its market value will be around $325 billion by the year 2026. Equally amazing is the fact that almost 12,000 fintech startups have entered this space globally in the last 10 years. The government of Barbados has taken note of the profile and demographics of the persons entering this space. They are young, enterprising, technologically proficient individuals who are innovators and creatives. And hence our government is committed to encouraging and supporting initiatives within the creative economy as an emerging sector, and this will be tangibly demonstrated in the coming months. In other words, we intend to produce many more Dave Sahadafs in Barbados. Government will also continue to utilize technology to enhance the ease of doing business in this country, and in doing so, become more transparent, predictable, and competitive. I believe that GIFS and IPayAnyWhere are also extending their reach into new markets, such as Sierra Leone and Uganda, which is in alignment with this government's appreciation of the need to explore available opportunities for building meaningful and mutually beneficial partnerships through South-South cooperation. I have been advised that today's partnership will allow TelNet to expand its range of fintech products and services within Nigeria and enable it to penetrate the fintech space within Nigeria without the need to expend valuable capital in research and development. TelNet has been a formidable force in information, communications, and technology in Nigeria. For more than 30 years, with an extensive list of customers, one can therefore truly characterize today's partnership as a win-win for both companies. It allows GIFS to have access to an initial market of over 200 million people by utilizing TelNet's large database of customers, and permits TelNet to extend its operational competencies into the Nigerian fintech space. This initiative also presents GIFS with an opportunity to expand the operation of Barbadian homegrown technologies in the near future as part of government strategy of economic diversification. In closing, I must congratulate the management teams of GIFTS and IPayAnyWhere and of TelNet on the formation of this new partnership, built not only on best practices in terms of corporate governance, but underpinned by what I hope will be a valuable symbiotic relationship. I trust that this partnership will set the necessary standards that others will seek to follow as we rekindle our ancestral roots. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Walcott. Well, now to bring the curtain down on the ceremony itself, we are going to invite Mrs. Simone Rudder, a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, to move the vote of thanks. Mrs. Rudder.
Very much indeed, Master of Ceremonies. Good morning and good afternoon to all participants, depending on wherever you may be located at this point in time. My task today is a pleasurable one, as it is my honor to raise a vote of thanks for today's event. Let me start by commending TelNet, GIFTS, and IPayAnyWhere for being keen entrepreneurs and dedicated innovators. We have listened carefully to the insights you've shared with us about your business plans, as well as your vision for enhancing commercial links between Barbados and Nigeria, and also spreading that to other areas as you progress. The Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honourable Mia Moore-Motley, has spoken often about the bridge which must exist between the Caribbean and Africa. The chairman of TelNet and the executive chair of GIFTS and IPayAnyWhere have reinforced the fact that you are creating and you are placing an important bridge, an important plank in that bridge, that of business to business engagement and people to people contact. I thank you. I would also like to thank Senator Dr. the Honourable Jerome Walcott, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of Barbados, for his message and advising us of the importance to Barbados of our relationship with Nigeria and also with other countries in the African continent. And also for emphasizing the importance of the development of innovative sectors such as the Fintech area as we move forward with this relationship. Mr. Mark Hill, CEO of Export Barbados, and Mr. Deodat Maharaj, the Executive Director of Caribbean Export Development Agency, have both brought to us messages emphasizing the need to prioritize vibrant business and export flows between Barbados and the rest of the Caribbean on one hand, and our partners in the African continent on the other hand. I thank you both for your messages and calls on our business communities to engage and to grow their businesses through this type of interaction. The musical contribution by the Most Honourable Dr. Gabby Carter was, as always and usual, magnificent. We thank him for his continued support to endeavours which reach beyond the shores of Barbados and the Caribbean into the African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not end this vote of thanks without thanking Mr. Phil Phillips, Barbados's Commercial and Cultural Attaché to Ghana, for his untiring efforts in facilitating substantive engagements between Barbados and Ghana and other countries in Africa, such as the one which we have seen to fruition today. Mr. Phillips is still with us here in Barbados, but he will shortly be leaving to take up his post in Accra. I would also like to thank Mr. Blackman for his work, for his master ceremony skills, as well as for the other work that I'm aware that he has contributed to make today the resounding success that it has been. I thank you all. Good.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end. That brings us to the end of today's ceremony. But it's at this point that we will entertain questions from the media. We have been in touch with regional media in the neighboring islands of the Caribbean, including, of course, our own Barbados. So if there are any questions, we'd just like you to identify yourselves and your media house, and we will endeavor to the extent that we can to respond to them, bearing in mind that many of the stakeholders you would have seen here this morning were pre-recorded. Thank you. I'm waiting. Any representative of the media, you're free to speak.
My name is David Cumberbatch. I'm with Caribbean Media Services. And I just want to thank the principals for an extremely detailed presentations. We understand the impact of such an initiative. My question is for any one of the speakers, any one of the principals. We talked about, someone talked about the exports from Barbados to Africa. Can any one of the speakers detail, perhaps Mr. Dave Sahadov, can you detail what some of those exports are and the impact that that would have on the economies of Barbados and Africa, and indeed the people of both of Barbados in terms of their economic growth and also in terms of the lifestyle, the life that this brings to them?
Well, thank you for your questions. A bit of a loaded one, and I'll seek to answer. But as it relates to exports from Barbados, of course, when it comes to that wider product, I'll defer to Mr. Mark Hill, CEO. However, as far as gifts is concerned in our company, we see it as creating, number one, the social impact. We always speak about bringing those who are unbanked or underbanked into the formal banking sector. We also talk about having economies that are inclusive. We see a partnership, such as this, as doing just that. But outside of that, effectively, what we also see is the opportunity to export technologies. As mentioned earlier in my address, that most people, when we think of exports, they normally think in terms of something that was a physical product that was manufactured. We see ourselves as a global exporter of Barbados and Caribbean technologies. And as it relates to any other questions with respect to other exports, I would defer that to Mr. Mark Hill if he's still on, or perhaps the Honourable Phil Phillips, speaking from the West Africa perspective.
Can you speak to that as well, Phil? I'd be interested in hearing what your perspective is as well.
Good morning and good afternoon.
Phil, you're on. Yeah, we can hear you, Phil.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Unfortunately, I did not get all of that question because I was actually moving around and doing a few things in the back. I think it has something to do with the focus of Barbados's export drive to West Africa. Was that the question?
Yes, it falls along those lines, but I wanted to hear from you since you're the one, well, you'll be heading to Africa shortly to officially pick up your role there. And from what I gather from the presentation, you are one of the catalysts behind seeing this through. So I wanted to hear your perspective on it as well.
Okay, I'll give a broad perspective. Certainly, this would be something that the BIDC would ultimately want to share more on. As you know, the High Commission is scheduled to open shortly in Accra. But over the last year, we have been focusing on developing relationships under the ambit of not just commercial diplomacy, but based on the strengthening or the building of ancestral relationships with Barbados, Ghana, and the rest of West Africa. Some of the industries that we have looked at and that we believe will be well positioned for growth between Barbados and Ghana would include certainly the renewable energy sector. We have had our entrepreneurs from Barbados, a few entrepreneurs in the renewable energy sector, engaging with West African companies, particularly out of Ghana, in the hotel sector in particular. And we believe that Barbados has the opportunity to be positioned at the center of the renewable energy industry, not just in Ghana, but across West Africa. So that's certainly one. Of course, as you know, the services sector is an area that we will be given heavy emphasis, and today's event is a testimony to that. We do feel ultimately that tourism will be a key engine driver for the Barbados economy between Barbados and West Africa and the Caribbean as a whole. So we are currently developing the mechanisms around building the brand Barbados out of West Africa, and you'll hear more about that in due course. The area of I believe there are huge opportunities also for the construction industry out of Barbados in West Africa, across West Africa. There are a number of projects. Let me just see if I can close the we're getting quite a bit of WhatsApp messages coming in here. Yeah, we're getting quite a bit of, we're learning of many large projects in the construction sector out of Ghana and across West Africa. What we believe is possible, that we have the opportunity to leverage our ancestral ties with a number of the project managers to facilitate Barbadian companies in the construction industry to participate in some of these very large projects. I'm not going to name any of them at this point in time, but I can tell you that is something that we are very, very, very keen to facilitate. So we have, of course, to leverage our creative industry as well. And we've had discussions we've started discussions, facilitating discussions with for instance, the National Film Authority out of Ghana and our own NCF out of Barbados. And we believe this is going to augur well for the creative industry, particularly the film and animation and gaming industries. So we are seeing this as a very holistic relationship, and we will be keen to keep the media informed of all of the potential as it unfolds. As we unfold more and more of the sectors, we will be sharing more details with the media.
Hello, good morning. I'm Mark Eiffel from the BIDC, not Mark Hill. Mark, if I do not believe Mr. Hill is here right now, but I don't know if I could speak on behalf of the IDC or Export Barbados. But to address your question, sir, in a nutshell, I believe you're speaking about people first, public-private partnerships, and what Mr. Hill has always kind of pushed. Indeed, the entire Export Barbados family has been just using old-time Bayesian common sense. At the end of the day, we have so much education, so much ability, and I think Mr. Sadat is a clear example of that. And indeed, if you look at the entire GIFts team, you will see there's a proliferation of of education, of professionalism, of that which it takes to get from Barbados to someplace else, and indeed across the African continent, you've seen that. So at the end of the day, it's just we've just continued to go forward as we've done in the past, in as much as there have been challenges relative to pandemics and social upheavals and that kind of thing. We, as you know, as who we are, we never let things get us down, and that, I believe, is what makes a successful exporter, not stopping regardless of the challenges or the obstacles. So I don't know if I would have been effective in communicating what I believe Mr. Hill would have communicated, but nevertheless, I felt something had to be said since you guys called the IDC name about 4 or 5 different times. So thank you for listening, nevertheless.
Well, thanks for your response. I don't want to hug the mic, so I'm just waiting for other journalists to ask questions.
Yeah.
I've got a load of questions, but I'm waiting for other journalists to also chip in here.
Well, let's have at least one of your other questions in the meantime.
I would like Mr. Sahadov to speak more in terms of the banking. You want to see my face, I know. All right, I will have to move my I'll tell you what I'll do. I would ask a question, and while you guys are answering, I would prepare myself to be camera friendly. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but I would like Mr. Sahadov to speak a bit in terms of some of the services that GIFT provide. I know there's the anti-money laundering, but you also touched upon the banking and unbanking system solutions for GIFts. Can you speak more to that and how that literally benefits folks on both sides of the Atlantic?
Yes, certainly. Well, as it relates to fraud and fraud protection, as you know, as so many transactions these days cross borders, and as you know, because of the pandemic, and even prior to the pandemic, there has been an increase in e-commerce. With the rise in e-commerce, which also speaks to the ease of doing business, unfortunately also, came the rise of fraud. So and there is also a big need for banks and even merchants to understand who are their customers and who it is that they're dealing with. So we have, as part of everything, we have what is called an AML KYC solution, which is able to identify individuals from any part of the world. We're able to authenticate them and drill right down even in terms of identifying people that have been involved in nefarious activities, people, with some kind of criminal track record, and also even to get even more granular, if an organization is desirous of doing business with another organization, it actually is able to run things like background checks on all of the directors and seeing if there are any persons that are what is being referred to these days as politically exposed persons. In the area of fraud, which is also rising, we have the product called FRED, fraud reduction through early detection, which also helps to monitor fraud across platforms for any form of financial institution. As it relates to bank and unbanked, our platform, IPayAnyWhere, actually is meant that it can integrate, as previously stated, into any form of payment. And we actually cater to the unbanked because we have, as part of our intellectual property right, a virtual prepaid card which can be topped up similarly to the way that one would top up a prepaid phone. We see this as being able to provide the same service and convenience for consumers that are unbanked and allowing them to enjoy the same benefits as those who have had traditional forms of banking relationships.
Is the gentleman from TelNet still in the conference?
No,
Probably
I
not.
don't think so. None of the TelNet representatives. I'm not sure.
No,
Oh, yes.
TelNet is fully represented. TelNet is here. We've been listening very attentively to you.
Okay, my question is for you.
So that is Mr. Aliyu, who is the Group Managing Director of TelNet.
Yes,
Thanks very much for this. Yes.
Mr. Aliyu, yeah.
All right, I was struggling to pronounce the name. That's why I didn't even try to attempt.
You may call me SLS.
I guess he would have the. I guess he would have the same problem pronouncing my name Cumberbatch, I would imagine. But talk about the importance of signing this, of getting involved in this initiative with gifts and the wider Caribbean, the impact that you see. How important do you see the wider Caribbean as it relates to TelNet?
Thank you very much. When Mr. Shahadat was speaking earlier, it said that this is quite important because for us, we're also looking at the ancestral roots of connecting with our brothers and sisters from across the Atlantic. So that is extremely important to us. But beyond that, TelNet shares a lot in terms of our values with gifts and IPayAnyWhere. Our mission is to reach out beyond our space and beyond our time. And this fits right into what we believe. So TelNet, as you've been told when you were listening earlier, is interested in providing services using our technology know-how in terms of systems integration and building solutions to making life better and easier for Nigeria and Nigerians. As a result of this, we have over time provided different solutions across the board. As Mr. Shahadat knows, TelNet built what is probably today the largest mobile payment company in Nigeria, which we recently sold up. And we were involved in building the first unicorn in the entire Nigerian and West African space. That is the switch in Nigeria today. So what we've done with this relationship is to extend our range of product portfolio to the Nigerian space, while at the same time working with our brothers and from across the Atlantic in deepening ties. So you would have a lot of fintech growth accompanied by fraud and such vices. This relationship helps us to ensure that we can protect that fintech space. At the same time, TelNet is a learning organization. As we speak today, we built the largest and most robust tax payment, tax processing system anywhere in this part of the world. And this is part of the solutions we are working with Gifts and IPayAnyWhere in integrating and the things that will be done across the different regions. So for us, amongst other things that we provide as services, for us, this is a mutually benefiting relationship that would grow in leaps and bounds, not just tilted to one side, but across both sides of the aisle. We're excited that we're working with our brothers and sisters from across the Atlantic, but more importantly, we share similar values beyond just creating, beyond just making money. We have much deep-rooted values that we share. And for that, we look forward to an exciting journey. Thank you.
No one has mentioned this, but I'll tell you, I mean, even though we're talking about from a fintech point of view, but I can see these I can see this relationship even moving in terms of travel from back and forth from Africa to the Caribbean, which literally increases that airlift. We learn more about our ancestral lands, etc. So I can see this really, really expanding from not just a business solution, but also a cultural solution.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're just about scratching the surface, and we look forward to a more beneficial and lasting relationship, really, that more like giving birth to so much more. There's so much in the offing that we can do, and the journey is exciting for us.